All right. Listen, if you're watching this right now, there's something you need to know, and I'm not being dramatic here. In approximately 72 hours, a massive solar storm is going to hit Earth, and most people have no idea what's coming. So here's what we know. 3 days ago, our sun released what scientists are calling a G5 level geomagnetic storm, G5. That's the highest classification. This isn't some small solar flare. This is a coronal mass ejection, CME, traveling at roughly 3,000 kilometers per second directly toward Earth. Now, let me put that in perspective. The last time we saw a storm of this magnitude was in 1859, the Carrington event. Back then, telegraph systems caught fire. Operators got shocked. The auroras were so bright people could read newspapers at midnight. But here's the thing. In 1859, we didn't have power grids. We didn't have satellites. We didn't have GPS. We didn't have the internet. Today, we have all of that. And all of it is vulnerable. NASA detected this 3 days ago. NOAA issued warnings. But the media, they're not covering this the way they should. They're running the usual stories. Politics, entertainment, distractions. Meanwhile, a wall of charged particles is racing toward us at millions of miles per hour. And when it hits, everything could change. Now, here's what they're not telling you. Behind closed doors, power companies are already preparing for potential blackouts. I've seen internal reports. Satellite operators are moving assets into safe mode. The FAA is rerouting flights away from polar regions because of radiation exposure risks. This is happening right now. But publicly silence. Why? Because they don't want to cause panic, and I get that. I do. But there's a difference between causing panic and being prepared. What concerns me, and I mean this, is that our infrastructure was not built for this level of geomagnetic stress. Our transformers, our substations, our satellites in low Earth orbit, they're all at risk. And if critical systems go down, we're not talking about a few hours of inconvenience. We're talking about weeks, maybe months. Because replacing a destroyed transformer, that takes time. And we don't manufacture most of them domestically anymore. So when I say this is serious, I mean it. Let me explain how this works. When a coronal mass ejection leaves the sun, it carries billions of tons of plasma and magnetic fields into space. When it reaches Earth, it doesn't just pass by. It collides with our magnetosphere, our planet's magnetic shield, and that collision creates what's called a geomagnetic storm. Now, the Earth's magnetic field protects us from most radiation. That's the good news. The bad news, when you have a storm this powerful, it induces electric currents in the ground. These are called geomagnetically induced currents, GICs. And here's the problem. Our power grid is essentially a giant conductor. When GICs flow through transformers, they cause them to overheat, they saturate. And in extreme cases, they fail. Not just one transformer, multiple transformers across entire regions. Think about it like this. Imagine you have a circuit designed to handle 100 volts. Now imagine suddenly pushing 10,000 volts through it. What happens? It burns out. That's what we're facing here. And it's not just the power grid. It's satellites. GPS systems rely on precise timing. A geomagnetic storm disrupts that timing. Your phone's navigation could stop working. Aviation systems disrupted. Financial transactions that depend on GPS time stamping, delayed or corrupted. This is a cascading failure scenario. One system fails, it impacts another, and another. So let's talk about what could happen in the next 72 hours. Best case scenario. The storm hits. We see beautiful auroras across North America. A few satellites go offline temporarily, maybe some minor grid fluctuations. Power companies manage it. Everything stabilizes within hours. That's the best case. Worst case. Major transformers across the eastern seaboard fail. Texas, already on an isolated grid, goes dark. California faces rolling blackouts that last for days. Satellites in low Earth orbit get damaged, some permanently. GPS becomes unreliable. Air traffic gets grounded. Telecommunication systems strain under the load. And here's what really concerns me. If the power grid goes down for an extended period, you're not just losing electricity, you're losing water pumping stations, sewage treatment, refrigeration for food and medicine. Gas stations can't pump fuel. Supply chains collapse. Within 48 hours, grocery stores are empty. Within a week, you're looking at a humanitarian crisis. Now, I'm not saying that will happen, but I am saying it could happen, and the probability is higher than anyone wants to admit. Let's talk about what this means for America, for everyday people. If the grid goes down in major cities, you're looking at chaos. Traffic lights stop working. Hospitals switch to backup generators, which only last so long. People can't access their money because ATMs are down. Banking systems are offline. Your phone might work for a few hours until cell towers run out of backup power. Then, you're cut off. No communication, no information, no way to know what's happening. And economically, every hour the power is out costs the US economy billions of dollars. Manufacturing stops. Data centers go offline. The stock market halts. But it's not just America. This is a global event. Europe, Asia, South America, they're all in the path of this storm. And if multiple countries lose power simultaneously, you're looking at a geopolitical crisis. Because when people are scared, when they're desperate, things get unpredictable. This is why I've been saying for years that we need resilient infrastructure. We need microgrids. We need decentralized power systems. We need to stop relying on a grid designed in the 1950s. But that conversation, it's happening too slowly. And right now we're out of time. Look, I'm telling you this because I think people deserve to know the truth. This isn't fear-mongering. This is a wake-up call. I've spent my entire career working on problems most people don't think about. Reusable rockets, electric vehicles, neural interfaces. Why? Because I think about the future. I think about risks. I think about what happens when systems fail. And right now I'm looking at the solar storm, and I'm concerned, not panicked, concerned. Because we've known this could happen. Scientists have been warning about this for decades, and yet we've done very little to prepare. So when I say pay attention, I mean it. If we don't take this seriously now, we'll regret it later. And regret doesn't fix a collapsed power grid. So what should you do? First, stay informed. Monitor NOAA's Space Weather Prediction Center. Check for updates. Second, prepare like you would for any emergency. Have water, non-perishable food, batteries, flashlights, a battery-powered radio, cash on hand in case ATMs go down. Fill up your gas tank, charge your devices, charge your power banks. If you have critical medications, make sure you have extra. Third, if the power does go out, stay calm. Don't panic. Don't make irrational decisions. Check on your neighbors. Help people who might be vulnerable. Community matters in moments like this. And finally, unplug sensitive electronics if warnings escalate. Power surges can destroy equipment. These are simple steps, but they matter. The next 72 hours will define how we respond to this threat. Will we be prepared, or will we be caught off guard? I hope I'm wrong about the severity of this storm. I genuinely do. But hope isn't a strategy. Preparation is. So stay alert, stay aware, and don't ignore the signs. Because what's coming isn't a conspiracy theory. It's not a maybe, it's a certainty. The storm is coming. The only question is, how bad will it be? I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm saying this to prepare you. Because the future doesn't wait for anyone, and neither does the sun. Stay safe out there. And remember, we're all in this together.